Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. It's early doors here in London. It's around 6 a.m. Last night was a heavy night because we had our tea after dark session at the tea house where we invite tea heads over, and we have a late night tea session. I didn't get back till around 1 a.m. or so, and it's only a few hours sleep, but I wanted to get up early and enjoy this golden moment to release this tea here, the follow-up from Simple Dreams 1. This is obviously Simple Dreams 2. Check out the artwork by Celine. Again, keeping the theme here. This is actually a good friend of Ayana's. Her name is Emiko, Emmy, and she is sort of sitting on this moss-covered ground with this little bunny rabbit, which is like a bunny rabbit lamp, which is glowing. So it's sort of bunny rabbit nightlight. And for those of you who don't know the Simple Dreams series, or what is now becoming the Simple Dreams series, the idea behind this series is that we wanted to release white tea cakes that are pretty young, sort of just starting their aging journey, which can absolutely be drunk right now and are delicious right now, but are a great way for you to also have an affordable cake that you can age yourself. Because of course, the aged white tea market is growing rapidly, has been for the past 10 years, and the prices of aged white teas are just shooting through the roof. And so if you can get high quality material that's 1 or 2 years aged, as I said, to enjoy absolutely right now, and I want to stress that point because I think a lot of people think that they're going to sort of put it away and they can't drink it for a few years. Absolutely not, and hopefully this session is going to demonstrate that. But drink now, but also age it and raise the value of your collection. And so the idea is also that it's sort of this young tea, which is why we have these children on the front cover. And the Simple Dreams name comes from this idea of sort of bringing things back to the most beautiful childhood dreams, the simple dreams, the ones that don't need to have to be imbued with lots of different meaning, but it's just a wonderful moment. And in this case, it's Emiko sitting, in a sort of pastoral, meadow with this bunny rabbit nightlight just illuminating her face. Okay, so we're going to open up this tea cake, and then I'm going to tell you. Do I have a tray? Yes, I do. And then I'm going to tell you about this tea. Got another one here. So this tea has been in our storage for about a year, and I haven't tasted it since it arrived about a year ago. And so I'm very excited because I now remember the whole makeup of this tea from looking at it. So this is the first time I've tasted it for a good sort of, 9 months to a year. Okay, take a look at these tea leaves, and I'm just going to remind myself of the scope. So this is a 2021, 15th of April 2021 picking from the Dahao cultivar in Zhenghe. So this is a Zhenghe white tea, which is different from Simple Dreams 1, which was a Fuding white tea. We'll talk about that in a bit. This is a Shomei blend, so it's larger leaves, and the elevation is approximately 450 meters. And what I hope you can see here is that there's a blend here of two sort of shades. The first being these very sort of green leaves here, and then the second being these much darker, more plummy, redder leaves here. So what we've done here is it was a bit unconventional. It raised a few eyebrows amongst the producers, but we asked them to produce, from the same batch of tea, produce a standard Zhenghe white tea Shomei. And if you've not seen our white tea video, I'll put a link in the description below. But Zhenghe has a different processing style to Fuding. There's differences between, neighboring producers, but in general, like from these broader areas, Fuding tends to, I think, pile the leaves thicker during the withering, drying, oxidation phase of white tea, and that means that it allows for a little longer in that phase, and so you get a slightly more oxidized tea. With zhenghe, they tend to spread it a bit thinner. They still, this is sun withered, so it will have spent a lot of time under the sun, which builds up aromatics, but at thinner layers, which means that it dries a bit quicker, and it means you get a more green tea, a more herbal tea, a fresher tea in general. And the browning process is something that's relatively new in Fujian. Been doing it for, I don't know, about 5 years or so. And in that process, they instead oxidize the tea longer. So they'll store it for a longer period of time, at probably thicker piles, maybe different temperatures, to brown the tea. Because aged white tea is becoming such a popular thing, a lot of producers are trying to imitate that aging process or kickstart that aging process through this sort of oxidation process, this extended oxidation or an increased oxidation processing, which is called browning. So oftentimes you'll have white tea, you'll have aged white tea, and you'll have browned white tea, which is still fresh but has been browned, and it's not the same thing as aged. It has more of a sort of black tea taste to it in general, but it certainly brings more sweetness and milkiness. And what we wanted to do is blend the two together so that we had the fresh, herbal, bright quality of a classic zhenghe white tea, but also to mix that with the milkier, sweeter, more honeyed notes of a more browned white tea. And you can see the contrast here. And as I said, it did raise eyebrows. It was, you know, there were messages going back and forth saying, we don't recommend you do this, which is, for me, always a good sign, because it means we're trying new things. And, you know, obviously, all of these tests and all of these sort of experiments are controlled. I mean, we do the tests. We try green and browned tea. We really like the combination. And so, you know, it's not a huge risk, but, you know, it's risky enough. Let's say that. And so I think producers are a little bit sort of risk averse in these kinds of things. We have a new Gaiwan here. Fresh in stock. Hope you can see it. This is our Stellar Tea Gaiwan. Stellar Tea, so it's a little astronaut. I'll just show you the lid. A little astronaut floating out, just tethered to a Gaiwan. So sort of ideas of sort of tea being stellar, amazing tea out in the stars, but also the old tea drunk, you know, floating out of your Gaiwan. Stellar tea. Right, let's warm up this Gaiwan. As I said, it's early here, but I wanted to make sure that I had this video done and I had enough time to edit it and take pictures of this cake and release it. It's gonna be a bit of a frenzied day today. Right, I'm gonna pour this over our little cat friend. And we're gonna see how the brown and green blend has been keeping up in storage. I'll put the leaves here so you can see them before I put them in the Gaiwan. Can you see this combination of greens and browns? So you get a very, very distinct difference there between the colors. And I think it's well, when we tasted it, it was a great combo. I'm going to do a little bit of crushing here. These are Chomei leaves, so they're larger. They're going to take some extraction. It's up to you how much you want to crush the leaves, but I think that, you know, if they're full leaves, then they're going to extract a bit too slowly for me, and so I want to crush them. And as I've said many times, that is one of the sort of main advantages of loose leaf tea, is not just keeping it whole leaf tea, but also to allow you to be able to manipulate the leaves. If it's already crushed, you can't reassemble them together. Okay, here we go. Let's see how many leaves are we going to go around that much there. A good hefty serving. Lid goes on, let that warm up a little bit. And then we're going to dive into our 10-step tasting. Simple Dreams 1 was an absolute winner and was a very, very popular tea. A lot of people commented on how aged it tasted, even though it was young, and I absolutely agree with that. Well, we'll see, but I think this is going to be a different experience because you're going to have it's younger, it's 2021, so it's only a couple of years old. I'm speaking to you from 2023, but the browning of one is going to, change things up even more. Here we go. Yeah, the sweetness that's coming through it. If you've tried Simple Dreams 1, you'll know it has a very sweet aroma, and this has lots of that sweetness. Predominance of raisins, but bready as well, and bready not yeasty, but more of like a muffin or a scone. What do I always interchange them. Let's go with scone today. So this is raisin scones, buttered raisin scones, golden syrup. I'm tempted to say honey, but it's a little bit more sort of a little simpler than that. Golden syrup, raisin scones, butter, milk, maybe like rice milk. So a bit of a lighter milk, not so sort of full fat, heavy milk. Magnolia flowers, light white, slightly creamy, floral note as well. Okay, let's give it a rinse. And I'm going to be brewing with boiling water today. I think I put 20 seconds, but I think I tend to brew a bit longer these days with whites. 30 seconds or so. Excuse me if my voice is a bit croaky. It's very early here. I literally woke up about half an hour ago, and it was a very late night. I think we left the tea house at around midnight last night, maybe about midnight. So it was a great session from about 7:30 to about midnight, about 25 to 30 tea heads just sitting, sharing teas, drinking teas. It was great to have the Tea After Darks back. If you're interested in joining one of our Tea After Darks and you happen to be in the UK, then do fire off a message to us. Where can you do that? Best place is Instagram, and I'll forward your details to the team who are organising it, the Tea House team. All right, here we go. Simple Dreams number 2. Ayana's good friend, Emmy. Let's see how this has fared over the past year. Oh, amazingly sweet. Same thing. Hot buttered raisin scones, strawberry jam. It's strawberry jam. It's not even kind of like strawberry jam. It is strawberry jam. Some elderflower popping out, a little brighter floral note that has a fruity undertone as well. Milk, cream, whipped cream. It is the quintessential, British high tea scones, raisin scones, strawberry jam, clotted. In this case, a little bit more like whipped cream. Sipping on like a elderflower cordial, perhaps as well. Take a look at those leaves. And again, you can see that brown and green combo. There is a mineral note popping out as well, like concrete pavements, and that elderflower, I'm going to say, is also moving. Yes, it's moving into lychee, sweeter, more tropical. A wonderful set of aromatics, which really do sort of set a promise that you hope it's going to keep, because this is dangerous. I'm going to put this over here. I feel like it's too early for me to be worrying about dripping water. Yeah, I mean, when you smell that, you just think, please, 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 please. If those aromatics carry across to the cup, we are in for an absolute winner. I kind of want a filter, but I don't have one because I crushed those leaves. So, all right, doesn't matter. We're gonna go non-filtered. How hot was that water? Ooh, I messed up. I messed up, people. It was 85 degrees. You see? Not quite with it. I love early mornings. I feel like, you know, this is like golden time to get work done, but sometimes I'm a bit hazy. So we're gonna have a lighter brew. Interesting experiment. There's a black tea minerality here. Yeah, there's fruits. The Longans lychees, we'll stick with that. But there's a lot going on in that guy one. Something else. There's something else. Okay. Cheers, everybody. A slightly lighter brew. As I said, I want to brew hot. This was like green tea brewing water, but let's see. Yeah, it's light, but it's delicious. Bit of marzipan popping in. Surprising. That's normally a note that I would sort of associate with Fuding, sorry. That concrete note is coming through. It's sort of like a powdery minerality. Very, very nice. Lychee tin syrup. So it's this syrupy note in there. Texture, well, let me do the texture on the hot water, but it feels like at least medium thick, I would guess. It's full of sweet tropical fruits and flowers. Flowers may be more like magnolia, I said, or lotus flower. Again, in those very ethereal, light, white, floral notes. Okay, now let's hit it. Let's hit it properly. There you go. Because these large leaves, they need hot water to really start to get into those leaves, start to extract the goodness. With white teas, because it doesn't go through a rolling phase, you don't have the sort of oils and the compounds being brought to the surface of the leaf, and so you need the water to do the work, to go into the leaf in order to extract it. And that's why with white teas, I generally brew with warmer, hotter water, probably than a lot of people. A lot of people still sort of recommend the sort of 80 degrees for silver needle. I don't think that that's the best temperature for white teas in general. But of course, experimentation is the key, and you are the best judge of what temperature you want. Yeah, I had a feeling there was some liquor hanging about there. I want to make sure we clear that. Again, this brown and green combo is a very interesting combo, and I think that, well, let's see. Not going to jump to conclusions, but I'm pretty sure that the producer is going to have to eat their words when they taste this tea. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's better. Texture. Yeah, I'll class it at medium thick. Medium thick. With a great mineral, again, that powdery mineral quality hits the sides and the center of the tongue. So you get that quench that releases into juiciness that we'll talk about later. Let's talk about taste. And it's really interesting because I am picking up the two. So on the green end, I'm picking up elderflower, rhubarb, snapper rhubarb, and that smell, it's bright, it's fresh. Yes, it has a fruity note, but it also has a sort of herbaceous green note that is such a lovely smell of freshly snapped rhubarb. It's rhubarb season now, so it's sort of fresh in the mind. What else? Zhenghe has a distinctive quality about it. And I have to say that it's very rare that I select a Zhenghe by Mudan, white peony, or a Zhenghe Yinzhen, silver needle, because I can't help but be more drawn to the sort of marzipans and nutty notes of Fuding. But combined like this, I think it's a beautiful counterbalance and play. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they age together. So there's this herbal note that is hard to put my finger on, really. I would say it's a combination of sort of fresh laundry smell, and I'm not really a connoisseur of meadow herbs, so I just sort of throw it all together. But I will say it reminds me a little bit of Genepi, which is Artemisia. I think it's Artemisia. And it has a herbaceous quality and a slight bitterness in there as well. So a sort of great, more mature maybe combination of minerals, flowers, bitterness that transforms into, as I said, a sort of floral juiciness that we'll talk about in a bit. And that's what I think, or I'm almost certain, is coming from the green white tea. That makes sense. The classic Zhenghe Shomei. Then the browned material steps in, and we're back in English tea territory. Tons of strawberry jam, some cedar wood, some warm milk and honey. Now it is honey. So milky, honeyed, jammy. That whipped cream is there as well. We talked about golden syrup. I was going to say brown sugar, but you know, it's in the territory. I don't want too many pictures to have to find. So you know what I mean. But definitely the honey is there. It's become with the herbal notes and all of these other notes mixed in with that sweetness. It's become like a herbal honey, like a forest honey. So sweet. Tons of strawberry jam. Those raisins are still coming through from the raisin scones. It's that interplay. I think a browned Shomei would be delicious, but wouldn't. You need that rhubarb snap. You need that Genepi herbal nature, because one of the criticisms of browned teas, and I want to say, I've said it in other videos, that you know, a lot of people sort of, there has been a bit of a sort of a perception that because brown tea is trying to replicate aged tea to some degree, that it's sort of like there's a turning of the nose up and go, oh no, it's just not proper aged tea. It's like faking it. No. I think that these kinds of tests, experiments, these types of processing techniques are constantly happening throughout tea evolution, and they should be applauded because, you know, it's all about trying to work out, you know, how you can manipulate the leaf and change it. And if you, it's not really about just sort of faking aged tea. It's about saying, well, that aged tea taste is such a desired taste. Can we work on the processing of the fresh leaves to bring about more of that sweetness and more of that milkiness at an earlier stage? And then you can still leave it to age. It will still age, just like a black tea ages. It'll still age. So it's just going to age differently. And so it was interesting yesterday. I tasted a raw pu'er tea from 2018, but it smelt and tasted very similar to a tea from 2007, 2008. And again, it is all about the processing. The producers were working on methods to, I guess, brown the pu'er. And again, some people might turn their nose up and go, well, that's just not proper aged pu'er. But it's not meant to be proper aged pu'er. It's meant to be, you know, creating flavors and tastes and working on how you can manipulate the leaf so that you can create beautiful hybrids that are not necessarily going to fit into perfect tea categories. So you could call this sort of a browned raw pu'er or a sort of a black tea raw pu'er hybrid. But if it was delicious, and it was, then it's delicious. So just enjoy it. Rant over. And definitely, this black tea quality is coming through. If you enjoy mixing white tea and black tea together, then I think you're really going to love this. So that sort of milky sweet, that marzipan is coming through as well, and the lychees and the elderflower. So as the liquor cools down, more of those fruits and flowers, the lotus. Oh, wonderful. Honey. Sweet, but then with that little genepi kick and that rhubarb. I keep wanting to say celery when I say rhubarb. That's why I keep going rhubarb. It's not celery, it's rhubarb. But I'm just imagining the snap. Body sensation is already heating, rising. Let's smell the empty cup. Okay, so now it's more raspberry jam and whipped cream. Raspberry jam and whipped cream. And when I say raspberry jam and strawberry jam, it's not even like, as I said, it is exactly as like you pop open a jar of raspberry jam. It's so incredibly fruity. Okay, I'm now going to brew this one hard because I want to see. I wouldn't recommend you do that because I think it'd be good for you to just, you know, go through the infusions. What did I write here? I wrote 15 infusions. Usually I'm quite conservative, but clearly when I was tasting this material, I thought it could handle 15. You can obviously boil this tea up as well. So after you've sort of had 7, 8, 9 infusions, just put it in some water and boil it for 15 minutes or simmer it for 15 minutes. But I would recommend that you eke out these infusions and taste how it develops. But I want to do one last hitter of a brew just so that I can really understand if there's any other notes that I'm missing and then communicate those with you. This is what I do when I'm doing my sampling, my tea sampling is, you know, brew harder, really get to know, you know, it may not be the best like balanced brew in the mouth, but at least you're going to know all the things that could possibly show themselves later on in the infusions. So that's why I'm doing this. Man, it's definitely warming and definitely heating. Ooh, yeah. The furnace has been lit. The day is starting. I love that about drinking tea early in the morning. That warm liquor, you know, hitting the stomach, and then this sort of just this rising of beautiful energy that sets you off for the day. Hopefully by the end of today, I'm going to be that astronaut, or even by the end of this session, just floating out of my Guy 1. Cheers, everybody. Wow. I don't think there's any new flavor note there. That combination of the powdery minerality, a little bit of talcum powder, a little bit of sherbet, let's say, sort of talcum powder sherbet. Yeah, sherbet. It's got that sweet powdery quality to it. Cedarwood is there. A little bit of pine resin. Slight acidity, and this is only because I brewed it like harder. Slight temporal acidity comes and goes, a little flash of acidity. Very nice, sort of marries well with the elderflower. Finish. Dry, transforms in a sort of gentle prickle to a floral, flooding, sweet juiciness. Flowers, I'll stick with lotus, with a little bit of that taffy candy, sort of raspberry taffy candy sweetness in there as well. It has quite a mineral pull to it, which I really, really love. All right, I'm going to keep sipping through this. I can tell you right now that this feels strong. It's not just woken me up and sort of made things like, you know, given me this energy, this fire, but it is starting to become brighter in here, a little bit altered. It's not clear. It's moved beyond that. I feel like, ooh, it lifted. I feel very lifted. I really think that this is going to be a good Friday. Check out on the tasting notes online what I really felt this body sensation was like in the end, but I'm pretty certain that you're going to read that it was a fairly tea-high sensation. This feels actually higher than Simple Dreams 1 in terms of its tea-lifted effect. I'm very, very excited to keep sipping through this. So here is Simple Dream 2, a very worthy, a very worthy follow-up to Simple Dreams 1. As I said, that was a big favorite, and I did wet the wrapper. I knew it, but it's okay. Extra bit of ferment happening here. Simple Dreams number 2. I hope that if you pick it up and if you enjoyed Simple Dreams 1, you will enjoy this one just as much. It's different, but in a great, great way. And that combination of the brown and green mix, I think, is something that we're going to continue to do, because I think it really, really works, especially, I think, for Zhenghe tea, where the green is a very particular flavor. Anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think. That's it, tea heads. Check out other videos, taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the supreme stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.